Most YouTube creators spend their time worrying about the wrong thing. They panic over content ID claims, yellow icons, and lost revenue, but these issues rarely shut down a channel. The real trouble starts at a different moment. The moment creators try to fix a copyright issue without understanding how the system actually works. A dispute filed at the wrong situation, a counter notice sent without realizing it's a legal statement, a message to a copyright owner that makes the situation worse instead of better. I work with YouTube creators after things have already gone wrong. Strikes, takedowns, escalations, channels at risk, and what I see again and again is that creators are not reckless. They're just misinformed. So in this video, I want to give you a clear map of the system. What a claim is, what a strike is, how strikes actually happen, and which steps are generally risky. No myths, no panic, just the truth. By the end, you should understand three things: what a copyright strike really is, what actually causes it, and which actions you should never take lightly. Let's start by separating the loud problems from the dangerous ones. First, let's talk about claims versus strikes. These are two completely different words. Creators often treat claims and strikes as if they belong in the same category, and they do not. They serve different purposes inside YouTube, and they operate under different legal rules. Content ID, which is usually not dangerous by themselves, is a matching system. It identifies copyrighted music, videos, images, or other assets that rights holders have registered. A claim can lead to three outcomes. The rights holder takes your ad revenue, they block the video in some regions, or they track your video's performance. Annoying? Yes. Fatal? Probably not. Claims do not account against your channel, and they usually do not put your account in danger. But creators often react emotionally to claims. They dispute aggressively, they insist the match is wrong, they try to force a release, and that is the moment where real risk starts. More on that soon. Now, copyright strikes, which are legally binding, happen when YouTube receives and validates a DMCA takedown request. A DMCA takedown is not a complaint or a warning. It is a legal demand backed by a sworn statement under penalty of perjury. When YouTube receives a valid takedown, the video is removed, you receive a copyright strike, and certain channel features will be restricted. Now you have to remember that 3 active strikes at the same time usually would lead to a permanent termination. Now this is where creators need to slow down and understand the stakes. So how do copyright strikes actually happen? There are 2 paths to a strike. Path number 1 is content ID escalation. This is the one created caused by accident, and it works like this. You upload a video, content ID detects copyrighted material. You get a claim, you dispute the claim, the copyright owners reviews your dispute. If they reject it, they have a choice. They can leave it as is, or they can escalate to a DMCA takedown. If they escalate, YouTube must remove the video and give you a strike. This is where creators get blindsided. They think the dispute process is customer support. It is not. It is a legal disagreement about rights and ownership. Now here's something you have to keep in mind. A wrong dispute can turn a harmless claim into a legally binding strike. Path number 2, manual DMCA takedown. This is more straightforward. A copyright owner finds your video and files a DMCA takedown directly. And it might be because their content is not registered in Content ID, they monitor the platform manually, or they saw your dispute and disagree with the claims. Now, when YouTube receives this notice, they remove the video and issue a strike. They do not negotiate, they do not mediate, they are required by law to act. Now, let me draw the risk map for you so you understand what actually is dangerous. Creators need a clearer sense of risk, so here's a simple framework. These situations are considered low risk. They are annoying, but they rarely escalate. We're talking about content ID claims you chose not to dispute, shared monetizations, regional blocks, claims on background music, and claims on old uploads. These usually don't harm your channel by default. Now to medium risk. These situations raise your exposure over time. We're talking about repeated use of the same copyrighted materials, ignoring warnings from right holders, relying on incorrect fair use assumptions, using free music that was not actually licensed, and content using multiple copyrighted elements in one video. These may catch the attentions of rights holders or show the patterns of unlicensed use. Now for the high risk. This is where creators can lose their channel. And I'm talking about things like filing a counter notice without legal guidance, disputing claims aggressively when you clearly used copyrighted content, using footage from major studios or network, uploading music from commercial artists, reposting someone else's content, getting multiple takedowns from the same copyrights owner, or uploading reused content that suggests spam or re-upload behavior. The highest risk move in the entire system is the counter notice. A counter notice is a legal claim that you own the rights or that your takedown was invalid. Once you file it, the copyrights owner has the option to sue you. If they do, YouTube cannot restore your video until the legal case is resolved. This is why legal advice is so essential at this point. You are no longer dealing with the platform rules. Now you're dealing with the law. So now let's talk about how to reduce your risk without killing your creativity. Now, you need to use properly licensed materials, and this means music and footage from services that clearly allow YouTube monetization. YouTube's audio library, Artlist, Epidemic Sound, Soundstripe, and reputable stock footage sites that are reliable. You also need to understand what fair use actually covers. Fair use is real, and sometimes it applies, but it's not a magic shield. Courts are the ones who are deciding on fair use and not YouTube. Commentary, criticism, education, and parody can all qualify, but context matters here. You need to make sure that your permissions are recorded. If someone gives you permission to use their clip, screenshot the message, save licenses, track the source of your assets. You need to try to avoid risky disputes. If you know the clip is copyrighted, do not dispute the claim unless you have specific legal argument or a clear permission. So what can you do if you receive a strike? Now, if a strike lands on your channel, you need to stay calm and you need to act with intention. You have 4 realistic options. You can wait 90 days and complete copyright school. You can contact the copyright owner and ask for retraction. You can file a dispute through YouTube if the takedown appears incorrect. And you can file a counter notice if you believe the takedown is invalid in legal terms. The last option is the most serious. Again, counter notice is a formal statement under penalty of perjury. You can trigger legal action and you could end up in court. If you are still considering it, speak with a lawyer who understands both copyright law and YouTube's enforcement system. You want to be sure you're not exposing yourself to unnecessary legal risk. Now, I want to say a few words about copyright extortion and abuse. Copyright law is powerful and some people misuse it, and I want to say just a few words about copyright extortion and abuse. Creators sometimes receive things like false takedowns, strike filed by a bad actor, messages demanding money to remove a strike, and so on. And if this happens, do not pay, collect the evidence, and report it through YouTube's official channel. You should also consider reporting it to the law enforcement if the situation is serious. YouTube does take action against abusers, but the systems requires you to document everything. Most creators are worried about claims, but claims rarely destroy channels. It is the legal actions behind the strikes and the creator's response to them that create real damage. If you understand how the system works, avoid risky disputes, and use licensed materials, you can stay creative without putting your channel at risk. And if you're already dealing with a strike or a takedown, or if you're unsure how to respond, our firm helps creators with these issues every single day. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. You will find the content link below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.